People are really excited about this. It works just like any other contactless payment system. You're going to take your smartphone, hold it up here, unlock it. People think it's going to be way more efficient to use and are excited to try it. We are right off of Memorial Drive by the Boston University Bridge, where a cyclist was hit and killed on Monday. Over 100 pedestrians and cyclists gathered here for a ceremony last night, many of them now calling for safety in the area to be improved. Saying bike lanes as well. It's the first bridge that's supposed to have a bus lane. I mean, opening in 2024, how does that make you feel? Well, what is typically a popular tourism spot for Boston is buzzing today for an entirely different reason. Workers are out here protesting in hopes of reaching a resolution. Construction on the North Washington Street Bridge was scheduled to be finished almost a year ago, but with repairs still clearly underway, we've reached out to Mass DOT for an updated timeline on the project. Every day, migrant families are leaving the airport to go to shelters during the day, but tonight, for the first time, they won't be allowed back. A grandmother says her grandson was riding the bus to school when he fell asleep and woke up in a bus yard. Now she's calling on school officials for answers as to how this could have happened. We're following breaking news. A Venezuelan woman arrested in connection with the shooting of David Ortiz. She was taken into custody yesterday by police in the Dominican Republic. Ortiz was shot at nearly point-blank range in June of 2019 while he was sitting with a friend at a restaurant in Santo Domingo. Surveillance video captured that shooting when a man walked up behind him and opened fire. People in the restaurant scattering and ducking for cover when those shots rang out. More than 10 people were convicted in connection with the shooting. 7 News was in the Dominican Republic in the days following the shooting as police made several arrests. The man who pulled the trigger was sentenced to 30 years in prison in 2022. Private investigators hired by Ortiz say a Dominican drug trafficker had targeted him. Ortiz was rushed to the hospital before being flown back to the United States. He was hospitalized in Boston for several months. His gallbladder was removed, along with parts of his intestines, and his liver was also damaged. He has since made a full recovery. Police have not yet announced the charges against the woman arrested. There's more news today. The 3 surviving members of the Ghost Army receiving a top honor on Capitol Hill today. The Ghost Army was a secret unit that used things like costumes, props, and sound effects to trick the Nazis during World War II. The group was made up of artists, actors, and radio and sound professionals. A Maine sheriff defending the actions of his deputies today in front of an independent commission team investigating October's shooting in Lewiston. Deputies with the Saginaw County had contact with the gunman Robert Card the month before the shootings, but the sheriff told the commission his deputies were faced with limited options during that welfare check. The sheriff said his deputies were not in a position to take Card into protective custody last fall, despite concerns given by one of Card's fellow reservists. He told the commission deputies thought the matter had been resolved with the help of Card's family and Army Reserve involvement. The sheriff says it was determined that Card did not pose a risk to himself or others. Come on. New York City police officers jumping into action to help a man who had fallen onto the subway tracks and was having a medical emergency Tuesday.
What's your name, buddy? What's your name? Pull him up. He was having a seizure.
Body cam video shows the officers rushing through a crowded station in the Bronx to get to the man. They found him lying on the tracks near the electrified third rail, which can be deadly if touched.
Come on.
The NYPD officers pulling him off the tracks just moments before a train comes. The officers lifting the man onto the platform, passengers then pulling the officers to safety.
Yeah. I thought the train was gonna come. I thought the train was gonna hit him.
Witnesses praising those police officers for their quick actions.
They both risked their lives jumping into the tracks to save his life. Y'all did a good job.
Thank you.
Really good job.
Migrant families loading their bags into taxis Tuesday morning after spending their final night at Logan Airport. Governor Maura Healey declared a state of emergency last summer for the amount of migrants coming to Massachusetts. Since then, Logan has served as an overnight shelter for some migrant families as shelters reached capacity. But the Healey-Driscoll administration is putting an end to that, announcing last month migrants would need to be moved out by July 9th.
We've certainly tried to let folks know ahead of time that we are going to be moving in another direction.
According to the governor's office, as of Tuesday, there are more than 700 families on the emergency assistance wait list who have been placed into other locations like safety net sites, including the one at the former prison in Norfolk. The governor's office also tells us nearly 50 people were sleeping at Logan Airport as of Monday night. They say staff has been helping those families find places to stay.
We've got service providers and others really working closely with families to try and make sure they have a place to go, either with friends or family. We still have some capacity in the overflow shelters.
The Healey-Driscoll administration says between the action they've taken to limit the number of migrants coming to the state and their team's help in finding places for families to stay, they believe now is the appropriate time for migrants to leave Logan.
This will be a work in progress, but we're looking forward to having it be as smooth as possible.
He woke up, had no idea where he was.
A 9-year-old boy left on the school bus.
This has been hard. He was petrified. He was scared.
2 hours after Teresa Ashby put her grandson on the bus to Fisher Hill School Friday morning, she was notified by his school he was absent from his 3rd grade class. She says she immediately called the school and was told it was a mistake.
Saying, oh, it was just a mistake in the computer. He's here. I've seen him. It was just a mistake.
But her grandson, Micah Adams, told her a different story when he got home later that day, explaining he fell asleep on the bus and woke up in a bus yard.
You're supposed to check your bus before you leave the school grounds to make sure nobody's left behind.
Micah was able to find someone from the bus company and was taken to school.
It's upsetting to me. One, I don't know who brought my kid to school. Nobody contacted me. So, yeah, I'm pretty upset.
The Orange Elementary School's superintendent tells 7 News the district is investigating the situation, and it contracts through Swift River Bus Company, which has also been made aware of what happened. DCF also confirming to 7 News it is investigating the incident.
I've gotten no answers, not even an apology.
Ashby says she's speaking up for her grandson and wants to ensure no other family goes through the same experience.
I'll keep fighting until I get some answers. I don't want this happening to somebody else's kid. I mean, he could have been hurt, he could have been sick, anything could have happened. He could have walked away from the bus yard.
It was a packed house as the bowling alley that was marred by tragedy last year finally reopened. A gunman opened fire inside Just-in-Time Bowling back in October. Now, following months of renovations, the business is welcoming back customers for the first time.
Amidst the darkness, there emerged a glimmer of hope, a sense of determination and resilience. It is this resilience that brings us together today.
The bowling alley now has new floors, as well as new scoring and lighting systems. The victims of the shooting memorialized throughout the building. The owners getting emotional as a crowd of people showed up to support the Lewiston community. The shooting on October 25th claimed the lives of 18 people. 8 of the victims were shot at the bowling alley.
While my heart is full, it is also heavy with these emotions. It's a weight many of us have carried for longer than the 6 months.
I come through the front door, and that's about all I got was to the front. I couldn't make it through the whole place. It was hard. It really was.
And now are you feeling?
I'm getting better. I still have triggers, but I am getting much better. This helps. This is what really helps a lot.
Those 8 people now remembered inside the business. This display bearing each victim's name and picture.
With this opening, they reaffirm their love and support for Lewiston, for the victims and their families, and for this precious place we call home.
The owners say they are fully prepared to serve customers once again and cannot wait to see the familiar faces of regulars. In the newsroom, Alex Thill, 7 News.